side control escapes. Another very important skill is being able to escape side control when our opponent pins us down on the ground and being able to either one, get back to guard or get back to our feet. Let's have a look at this. Okay, let's break that down. So we have an attacker that's taken us to the ground. They pinned us down. Now, there's a couple of important things to take into consideration. Where are my attacker's arms? Okay, if my attacker has a crossface with this arm, I'd much rather that. The reason being is if he has some sort of sense of grappling knowledge and he has his arm over this side of his head, my head, I don't want to be starting to bring my arm in front of his face, because there is a technique here like a mousetrap setup where he can grab my arm and then figure four lock me from here, okay? So I'm not going to bring my hand in front of my attacker's face. I'm going to keep it hidden here. Another important thing is his ability to strike me from here. Can he strike me from here? Yes, there's elbows involved, so I want to be able to use my arm in self-defense to be able to see what he's doing, all right? Ideally, from this position, I want my head on the inside of Ant's arm here, all right? So if he's a little bit high up, maybe I can shrink my body back a little bit, but what I'm gonna do is utilize my hips as a pendulum action. So now I can get my head on the inside of his arm. So I keep him in nice and tight for self-defense purposes. I'm cupping the back of his arm. That nullifies his ability to be able to strike me with the elbow. So try and strike me from there, Ant. So I keep his arm in nice and tight. He can't elbow me from here. So here I swing my legs. As I swing my legs into him, I bring my head on the inside. So it gives me that whipping action to be able to get my head on the inside. Now I'm in a much better position to be able to start working on my side control escape. So like I said, in class, anytime that I have someone on top of me, I want to smush. I want to close the distance. So here, I'm going to keep him in nice and tight. If I can, I'll make his head turn this way. His ability to strike me from here, so if you try and posture up to strike me in, I can just hold him here. I can transfer from his head. I have this arm underhooked, and I can utilize my knee as well to keep this arm from punching. Another important thing is, if my attacker makes space, that's a good thing, because if he decides to posture up to try and strike me, he's made space now for me to escape. So now I can use my free arm to catch and then escape. All right, it's different though if he's just pinning and holding me down. So if he's here and he's holding me down, so what I want to do is I want to shrink my body back in this direction. So ideally I want his hips on top of my hips so I can get the leverage to be able to escape. So here I shrink my body back. Now I have his hips underneath my hips. I'm going to start the whole process of rolling my wrist under my attacker's neck and getting a frame. I like to cut the trap, so I use my wrist under my attacker's neck. It's very uncomfortable too, because if I push you up, naturally he's going to want to try and posture up. He's not going to fight it because it's choking him. So this is a really good tool, is if you can actually get your forearm under your training partner's neck and cupping the trap. Now from here, we're going to look at, because he's got his knees bent and he's more in, now I can probably think about maybe just getting back to close guard. So here, my free arm can come to his hip, and the way that I can get my elbow into his hip, so maybe I can tilt my body out to the left a little bit to be able to get my forearm in where his hip is. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my feet in close to my hips, and I'm going to bridge nice and hard in this direction. As I bridge, I shoot my hips out in the opposite direction. So I bridge and I push in my attacker's throat. So I bridge up I shrink my hips out. My bottom knee, I'm going to insert where Ant's hip is. So as I shrink my body out, now I'm going to insert my knee. Now from here I have two options. One, I can just come back to closed guard. So here I'll have inside control where I'm defending and watching to see what he's doing for strikes. I can come to inside control here. I can shrink my body out and then I can start working my leg and wrapping around and getting back to closed guard. Or if I get to here, maybe I can get back to my feet, okay? So here I can shrink my body out, push on his head, to get back to my elbow. And then I can get to my feet, especially if this is maybe a multiple attacker situation and I need to get away quick. Let's have a look at that one more time. So here we have an attacker on top. We're looking at worst case scenario. He's in tight, he's got his knees in nice and tight, okay? Rule, big rule. If he's got both arms over the top, we don't bring our hand in front of our training partners because that can happen, all right? So I keep my hand hidden, my body's in nice and tight, I'm watching for elbow strikes. So I ratchet hold of his arm, try and strike me from the end. Okay, so I have complete control of his arm. Now from here, I use a pendulum action with my hips. So I'm going to swing my legs this way and I want to get a whipping action. So I want to whip my legs in towards Ant's feet. As I do that, it enables me to circle my head on the inside of his arm. Okay, now that I've got him here, now I'm in a much better position. I'm going to pull his head down, okay? I'll make his head turn this way. And then also I'm holding this arm here to control his arm. Now at any moment, if my attacker decides to post up to try and punch me here, that's an opportunity for me to escape. So here, I would be here and getting back out, okay? Because if he makes space, we make space. If he's holding me down, then I have to do a little bit of work, okay? So he's got this deep cross face and I'm here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrivel my body back this way. So now I have his hips on top of my hips. So now I'm going to have the leverage to escape. From here, I'm going to insert my wrist under Ant's neck. So here I roll my wrist underneath and then I have a good frame that's underneath his throat. My hand is going to cup his trap. My other arm here, if his hips are in nice and tight, ideally I'd like to get my elbow on the inside of his hips. So what I can do is I can bump my hips out a little bit to pull my elbow in. Okay, so now I have a good solid frame. From here, what I'm going to do is I bring my feet in nice and tight. I bridge hard as I push in his throat and I hip escape out to my left. So I bridge up, out, insert my shin. Then I can decide what I want to do. Do I, one, want to just get back to closed guard? Or two, if I get to here and I need to get back to my feet quickly, I create space. So I have inside control. I would be more inclined just to push on the back of his head and shrimp out. You can also get your legs into the mix and kick him away. And then I'd be able to get back to my feet to get away safe. That is the side control escape.